Do you feel what you did was wrong?
I know it was wrong.
What do you think your punishment
should be? It's wrong in the
be?
eyes of God, okay?
In your eyes, I'm asking you, not in the eyes of God. In your eyes, do you feel like you did what you had to do?
I didn't have to do that. It was wrong. Look, I don't want to say yes, but my son told me I saved him.
On the morning of March 24th, 2015, officials from the Wayne County Sheriff's Department arrive at Martin Luther King Apartments on the west side of Detroit. They are there to enforce the court-ordered eviction of 35-year-old Mitchelle Angela Blair. When they knock on her door, authorities are struck by Blair's strange behavior. Suspicious, they enter, but they're shocked and appalled at what they find inside. Authorities locate the bodies of 2 children stuffed into a deep freezer in Blair's home. The children are later identified as Blair's 13-year-old daughter, Stoni Ann Blair, and 9-year-old son, Stephen Gage Berry. After just a few hours, Blair is taken into custody and questioned by investigators. Her surviving children are put in protective custody.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions, if you don't mind, okay?
Can I ask one?
Sure.
Aren't my kids still here?
You know what? I can't ask
No,
that
I
right
can't
now.
see 'em.
But I can find out. As soon as we're done, I'll make sure you know all that information, okay?
I just wouldn't want to tell my aunt to her face because I created a big distance between her and she honestly never did anything but love us. And I created that distance with her so I can hide it. You get what I'm saying? So she thinks that I'm mad at her and don't love her.
I'll make sure you
that's
get.
not the case.
You just want to make things right.
I just want her to know that for her.
Okay.
Because she loves me so much, she don't have kids.
Okay.
And to do that to her, and I remember her face.
Okay. Let me. I gotta take care of this first, okay? And then you could tell me anything you want to take. But I got some administrative things that I gotta let you know about, like your constitutional rights. Before you say anything to me, you have rights, and I'm gonna read these to you. Okay.
Because I already know that. Come on, I'm good.
After Blair confirms that she understands her rights, Officer Diaz questions Blair about her personal life. Blair shares that she's a Detroit native with a 10th grade education. Her nickname is Angel, and she's lived in the apartment where her children's bodies were discovered for the last 9 years. She shows Officer Diaz several of her tattoos, including one with her children's names.
Do you know if my kids' names were released on the news yet?
Ma'am, I've been in here, so I
don't think the dad knows. Yeah, and I was trying to keep it. I gave them the number and everything.
To who?
To their dad. To his dad, you know.
Where are your other 2 kids, Stoni and Stephen?
At my house. At the old house.
When you say my house, what do you mean? At
the old house, yes.
Where in your house are they?
Freezer.
Who put them in there?
Within the first hour of the interrogation, Blair admits to placing her 2 children's bodies in the freezer at her home. The detective wants to know why.
Why did you do that?
Because they were... along with the other things.
When you say they, who are you referring to?
Not molesting. I mean, literally having sex with them.
And what else did you say?
The little things that they did to him.
I know, but I missed something that you said that they were literally having sex with him, you said?
Yes.
You said not molesting?
Not molesting, literally.
You said not molesting?
Not molesting, because molesting is just touching. Like if it wasn't molesting, they were flat out him.
The children's names and other confidential details are redacted from the audio to protect their privacy.
But they had been going on for years, since he was in diapers.
How did you become aware that he was getting?
Well, I came home one day. It was basically saying, "Come look what I'm doing." He wasn't doing it by the time I went in the living room. But she said, "Show Mom what you was doing."
How did you become aware of it?
I came home one day, rushed to the front door. It was like, "Mom."
When was this?
This was a while ago. This incident didn't just happen.
When you say a while ago, was it a year, 2 years, a month?
Around there.
Around where?
Year or 2.
Blair tells Officer Diaz her children's bodies have been in the freezer for years. It's 2015 at the time of the interrogation. According to court testimony, Blair first killed one of her children in 2012.
So you came home about 2 years ago.
He's saying, look what he was doing. So I told him to show me what he was doing, and I asked him why he was making the dolls for each other. And I asked him, did somebody do that to you? And he said no at first. And he said, yes. And he put his head down, so I looked at him. And I just asked him who the f*** that, you know what I mean?
So he was playing with 2 dolls?
No, his little wrestle, the little wrestle figures. His, how boys play with their toys.
And he was making them each other?
He had, I don't know why he acted it out like that. It's just, I don't want nobody to think that anything's wrong with my son. You get what I'm saying? Because there's nothing wrong.
No, nobody's making any judgments. I just want you to tell me what happened. Nobody's passing any judgments.
I know,
okay?
because, to read it, when they read it, they're not going to understand.
No, listen. That's why I want to record exactly what you tell me, okay? So nobody's passing any judgment on your son or on you or anybody, okay? We just want to know what happened, okay?
Okay.
So just feel comfortable telling me what happened.
Okay.
I want you to make nothing up or think about how it's going to look. I just want you to tell me so we can help you, okay? And we can help your son if he needs it.
So I went upstairs with him, and I asked him, would you on your brother? On your brother? Would you on your brother? And
so you asked somebody did that to him?
yes. I'm like, why are you playing like that? I told him that's nasty as hell. Why are you playing with that? I said, did somebody do that to you first? He said no. And he had his head on and he said yes. And I asked him who, and he said, I just went straight upstairs with him, well, all 3 of us. And I'm asking, and he said, no, he's lying. I'm like, no, I'm not. So I'm looking at the both of them. And I said, what? Because I'm not understanding. You got to understand, I was a lot younger than she was, like, over a year ago. And he had to be quiet about all this time. So when he's telling me, he's getting loud, and he's like, yes, he did. Yes, he really did this to you. Why didn't you tell me? Because they said they was going to kill me and beat me up. I looked, I told him to tell me the truth before I beat the hell out of him. And he says, well, I told him, but that's it. And then he said, no, it's not. And I said, did you ever pull his underwear down? Did you pull his underwear down? He said, no. He's like, yes, you did. I just remember walking out the room. No, I remember everything else. I'm just saying, it's like I couldn't say I wasn't like out of my mind. You understand?
When do you think this was?
Roughly 2 years ago.
So you go upstairs, you confront your other son, and he says, no, I didn't do it.
Yeah, he's like, no, I didn't.
So what did you do at that point?
I sat on the floor for a while by the edge of the door, and I just remember I kept going, what the but they did this to him every day, every night.
What did you do after that? Did you take any physical action towards?
Not just yet. And then I just closed the door. I got through telling me everything. I went back upstairs. And I opened the door because I fully believed him. And I know that's what he had did. He told me things that, after finding out, now it makes sense. You get what I'm saying? It's like certain things, I'm like, what's wrong? Or he crying, or he fell off the bunk bed, and I'm fussing at him, take toys away from him. It's like he didn't even do. They push him out the. It is totally.
Okay. So I asked you if you took any physical actions towards. Said not just yet. You took downstairs. He told you more stuff.
Yeah. And when I went back upstairs after I heard, I could.
What did you do when you went back upstairs?
I punched him. I just kept punching him.
Punching?
Yes.
Blair admits to physically abusing one of her sons. His name is redacted from the audio, but based on trial testimony and news articles, it seems that Blair is talking about her 9-year-old son, Stephen, who she killed in 2012.
How long been in the freezer?
2 years. I want to say 2 years.
You said almost 2 years or 2 years?
I want to say 2 years.
It can be difficult to determine which child Blair is referring to due to the redacted audio. It's helpful to pay attention to the pronouns she uses to decipher whether she's talking about her son Stephen or her daughter Stoni.
How long has it been in the freezer?
About a year. She died on May 25th. August 30th.
You said about 1 year?
Yes.
She died when?
On May 25th.
Of what year? Last year?
It would have to be. I'm just a blur.
When?
August 30th.
What day was that, ma'am?
August 30th.
Of what year?
2012.
According to a document from the Michigan Department of Corrections, August 30th, 2012 and May 25th of 2013 match the dates of offense for Blair's homicide charges.
I can't, I was holding him when he died.
When you say holding, how were you holding?
Just holding him.
What caused him to die? I didn't ask you what you were doing. I asked you, how did your son...
I don't know. What I'm saying is he died from what I inflicted on him, but it wasn't, he didn't die right then. You get what I'm saying?
Well, you say you afflicted on him. What did you afflict?
I was punching him.
So you say you don't know what caused him to die?
No, I know I did. What I'm saying is, I don't know specifically what was going on in his body. You get what I'm saying? He died from his injuries. I can honestly say I did not mean to kill out of him, and I talked to him in the morning.
You say you just beat the hell out of him?
Yeah.
Now, I hear what you're saying, but you still haven't, I asked you the question, how did your son die? Okay, so you did something. I need you to tell me specifically what it was. So you just punched him?
Like, just punching him to keep him at, yes.
You said punched him? What exactly did you do?
Like, where did I punch him?
What did you do? You punched him?
Basically everywhere. I choked him.
With your hands?
Yes. That's not how he died. I punched him.
You're missing out the evil part, because you're telling me something.
Because you don't know how I'm punching him.
Okay.
But I punch him and I'm talking to him.
Other than punching him and choking him, did you do anything else?
Yes.
What did you do?
He was telling me how he used to kick him, and
You kicked him?
no, he was telling me how matter of fact, yes, actually I did. Like bathtub, right? Hot water.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like this, and I stood him in there.
In the hot water?
Yeah.
No,
He got right back out.
Did you run the hot water first and then dump him?
What do you mean?
How?
I grabbed him in the bathroom, and I was still talking to him. And then I'm asking him, Like, why you drinking sex? I hate him. And it's, okay. We're just talking about, and I got the hot water on. And I'm still talking to him, but it's like I'm threatening him. And I didn't plan on doing it, but I did it. It's like, I can't explain it to you.
So you turned the hot water in the bathroom, in the bathtub?
Yes. And if you don't tell me everything, and tell me exactly why, and just everything, like what you've been doing.
Did you put him in the bathtub?
I stood him up in there.
You stood him up in there?
Yeah. So his feet got really messed up. You know, your soft layer of your skin on your feet, it bubbled up.
Then what did you do?
He came back out, just going like this. And he was talking. So I sit in the toilet and I listened to him. It's like,
what else did you do?
there was basically a rotation of that, punching him, just hurting him. He's skinny.
How long did that go for?
In total, after I found out, he was in there 4 or 5 days, and I made him stay in his room. I took him food because I didn't know what to do. So I called my aunt first to see, but I ended up, I guess, checking out, and I didn't tell her. She knew nothing of what was going on. And then I actually called the police.
Blair tells the investigator that although she called the police, she never reported the alleged sexual abuse for fear that her parenting would be called into question and her children taken away.
So you do all this, right? You send him to his room, and you said you called the police at some time?
Yeah, but I didn't tell them. What I called was like I'm asking a general question.
After he went to his room, what do you do?
What do you mean?
He goes to his room, and then you said,
day.
what did you say about, you said it took him 5 days before he passed?
Yeah. It wasn't like, he wasn't walking around like just really tore up. The last time that I heard him, he was gone the next morning. So I know that's what did it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I was even doing this to him.
But I asked you how long after that incident does Stephen die? How long? Okay, so you beat him up the one day, right? And then 5 days go by, you beat him up again?
No, because it's mixing. The hot water was the night before, the afternoon before.
Mm-hmm.
I was around 1 something in the afternoon.
He says, no, I didn't do it. Then you go back upstairs and you do all these things to him. You punch him, you choke him, you put him in the hot water, and then for 5 days you ground him.
No, the hot water came the night before. You get what I'm saying?
No, that's what I'm trying. You walk me through.
Okay, when it very first found out, there was no hot water until the end. The hot water was the day before he died.
Okay.
So at first, all this is just punching.
Okay. Oh, I'm trying to get a timeline here, because you do these things to him, right? How long do you do these things? You assault him, you put him in the water. How many days go by before he dies?
I want to say no more than a week.
So far, Blair has confessed to punching, kicking, and scalding her son with hot water in a bathtub. It's still not clear to Officer Diaz how long the boy was left in his room, or what was happening to him during that time. Blair also confesses to drinking leading up to her son's death.
So you said the first day you punched him several times.
Yeah.
The second day you didn't touch him.
No.
But the third?
The second day I was like throwing up and was really, I had been drinking vodka, like from the first day period, and I basically couldn't get up.
You say you was throwing up?
It's like when I get up, maybe I would have went back in there, but...
Did you say you were throwing up?
Yeah, the only reason I didn't go, honestly, only reason I didn't go back in there the second day, because every time I got up, I'm throwing up, and I'm sick, and
But then the third, the fourth, and the fifth day, you continue. The following days, you continue to assault them. Is that correct?
Drinking. Yeah, and it was like, this is how it went. Like, I'll talk to him for a second, and he'll say something, and I'll start punching him. And I'll stop, and then I'll start talking to him again. And then it was like no answer he gave was, I just went, it's like I just stopped, I talked to him, and I
Who witnessed this?
was downstairs, but she witnessed.
Okay, let me ask you this. At what point do you put Stephen in the freezer?
After he died.
You said after he died?
When I came back in the room, he says, I just throw up.
Say that again?
So when I came back in the room, he says I have to throw up. So I walk him to the bathroom. He didn't throw up, and he says I have to poop. He didn't poop.
Then what?
So I just took him back in the room, and he laid back down. And his breathing was it sounded weird. It was just, and I put my hand right here on his chest, and his heartbeat was like, it was crazy. I put my ear up to it, and it was like,
You say you felt his heartbeat and it was crazy?
I fell for it, and it wasn't strong enough. Because I know he has a really strong heartbeat. That's what they all do. And when I did like this, I couldn't feel it, and I couldn't find it, so I put my ear, and it was there. But it was like, I couldn't explain it. And I looked at him, and I'm just like, what the God? And he's just like, he's going like this.
So he was fading out?
And I tried to do CPR on him.
You tried CPR on him?
I tried.
While he was still alive?
No, when he started looking like that and started doing that.
So did he stop breathing when you tried CPR?
No, he stopped before that.
So he stopped breathing and you tried to do
looking
CPR?
at him and he's going.
Okay.
So what did you hear it no more? So
Blair describes the murder of her 9-year-old son in graphic detail. The investigator must continue to keep her composure under extremely difficult circumstances.
Did you call for medical assistance?
After he died? No. After I stopped trying to do that, I just said he was the one. I was just looking at him.
Why not? Why didn't you call for somebody?
I was scared.
Blair tells Officer Diaz that after Stephen dies, she pulls his body close to her and holds him. His little body is already beginning to stiffen.
After you finished holding him, what did you do with Stephen's body?
Put it in the freezer.
You what?
Put it in the freezer.
Did you do anything? You just put him in the freezer? Did you put some clothes on him? What did you do? You just put him in the freezer as he was?
Well, he had this Paul Frank's blanket that he really like a lot. So I just wrapped.
You wrapped him in what kind of blanket?
It's like Paul Frank. You know the monkey Paul Frank on kids' clothing or.
That was his favorite blanket? Paul Frank?
It's like it's a name brand, it has the monkeys on it, and it was a big comforter. It's blue and white with monkeys on it. And like I heard he used to argue with them. I don't touch my blanket, you know what I'm saying? So I just
So the other kids didn't see you do that?
No.
Now that Blair has confessed to Stephen's murder, Officer Diaz wants to know more about what happened to 13-year-old Stoni.
How did Stoni die?
Stoni, I meant to do it.
Excuse me?
With Stoni, I meant to do it. Like with Stephen, I can't even say it was an accident, but it's not. If somebody dies from what you do to them, then it's that. But Stoni, I did mean to.
The question on everyone's mind is how could any mother kill her own child, especially with intention? Officer Diaz presses Blair, and she admits to some of the torture she put Stoni through.
What did you do to your daughter, Stoni?
Can I tell you what happened with her before?
No, we're going to get to that. I just need to know what you did to her, and then we're going to get back to what she did. Okay?
So I'll tell you what's leading up.
Tell me how you feel more comfortable. If that's how you feel more comfortable, you could tell me like that. But we're going to get to that. I just kind of would rather you answer this question, and then you could tell me what, and then I'm going to ask you what led up to it.
Okay. First, same thing, the very first thing. I punched her so hard. Because she was still doing that after.
Because she was doing what?
She was still doing that to him. I didn't find out.
Doing what to
9 months
him?
later, they were both him. And he said he was so scared of Stoni. I'm like, why wouldn't you tell me this? He said, because she kept saying that, don't say nothing. Or she gonna beat me up and all that. Whatever, it's just. So I found out 9 months later that she had been still doing this after Stephen.
When did she leave?
One day they were arguing about something, and they came in the room, and he said, don't sit next to me. I said, stop acting like that to her. It's your sister. He was like, oh, I don't want her to sit next to me. She mean to me anyway. And I said, mean how? He was like, she used to kick me like this. And I'm like, so why you never tell me? Then he started saying my diaper. I don't know. I'm like, what do you know, it started off with Stoni. And he ended up telling me Stoni was doing that to Stephen first. See what I'm saying? And I looked at her and I'm like, you sat here. We talked. We all talked to Stephen together. Because they did not only just him. They was taking his food. It sounds petty. They blame things on him. But I fussed at him, but it wasn't him. They take his food. Even at school, Stephen would get up and go grab his food. I'm like, y'all, I get $700 in snaps every month. Y'all eat. This is like you steal. When you see him in the hallway, you take jabs at him. Y'all used to take turns on him.
But you never saw that with your own eye?
Never. That's what I'm saying.
What did he tell you that Stoni did specifically?
This is what I'm saying specifically. This is all leading up to it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find out about them hitting him, nothing, until I found out about Stephen. But Stoni was after him. And I'm like, it just got me. You was in his house with us, and you still doing that. You're still doing that to him. After I told me I saved him.
But how did he tell you that she raped him?
So far, Blair's allegations against her daughter don't line up with the story she's been telling the investigator. As Officer Diaz presses her, Blair begins to accuse the 13-year-old girl of sexually assaulting her brother.
So at that point, you grabbed Stoni by the neck?
I'm holding her like this. She's against the wall. And I'm looking at me, and I said, tell me. And the way that he's telling me, it just felt like it, to him, to me, it just felt like it felt good to get out, for him to say it. Because he's still been getting his ass beat. He's still been getting, wow.
So you grab her against the neck, against the wall.
I'm still holding her, and I'm looking back. What do you do?
Are you choking her at that point?
Oh, no, I'm holding her there. No, she can breathe, but I have her in a choke, you know.
So you grab her. She's still breathing because you're asking her questions.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Do you squeeze tighter where she can't breathe? What do you do?
After he told me that, it was like she just slammed her. You know.
So you grabbed harder?
Not grabbed. I just got it. I already had a good grip. So I did like this. You know how you sling somebody down? So I slung her down to the ground.
So you had a good grip around her neck?
Yeah, I wasn't squeezing yet. After he said what he said, I just threw her down. I kicked her. She got up, was backing up, and I asked her, and this is what got me. She said, "You and Steven." I said, "What you said?" I said, "Steven, see, y'all was gagging for him." This was,
You started kicking her, you said?
yes.
At what point do you kill Stoni?
Well, I hit Stoni in the head.
With what? What you hit her with?
That's not what killed her though. I had like this little stick.
What was that?
It's like a stick.
You hit her with a stick?
Yeah.
What kind of stick?
It's just some it's a wooden piece. You know how certain things go to beds. So,
Just a wooden stick?
Yeah, but it's thick. You know what I mean? About this long.
The wooden stick Blair is referring to is a heavy, rounded piece of wood that she claims used to be part of a bed frame. She tells Officer Diaz the number of times she hit Stoni in the head with the stick is not countable.
So I'm hitting her in her head, and I'm like, he was a baby.
How big was it? About that big?
About this. It was blue. Not so big. It was where you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So you hit her on the head.
Yes.
And then what?
Just went on for a minute, talking and spilling everything she's done to him. Went on for a while.
You hit her in the right eye?
It was right here.
What about it?
Because when I came down, you know, it was just like,
So you in the right eye, in like the right temple here, or was it the eye? Was it the eye or the temple?
No, it wasn't the eye. It was,
like right here. So that would be the temple.
No, right here.
Yeah.
Literally on your eyebrow.
On your eyebrow.
The hard part, If I'm wrong about which eye.
And you saw blood coming out?
Yes.
You saw a lot of blood coming when you struck her?
It's like, I'm doing the stream of it. It was like.
So it just like came out?
It's just like a spurt, and then it stopped.
So you saw a stream of blood come out?
Yeah, it was like you just put a little, on this bottle, and you do like this.
Okay.
Like that.
Blair says after the beating, she gives her daughter a washcloth with ice to put on her eye. Her clothes and skin are covered in blood. Blair sends Stoni to her room, the same as she did with Steven 9 months prior. Then Blair wipes the blood from her daughter's skin and puts the bloody clothing into the trash. While the 13-year-old is in her room bleeding from her injuries, Blair heads to the basement to drink vodka.
She was up in her room for like 2 days. I wouldn't talk to her. After the first day I found out, and I did what I did.
Okay, so she was up in the rooms for about 2 days, and then what?
Yes. I go in there and give her food. Then I get pissed at myself that I gave her food because y'all was stealing food from him every day. That's why he go to sleep hungry and wake up hungry.
Did you at some point, did you stop giving her food, period?
What you mean?
Did you starve her?
Basically. It went down from 2 times a day to 1, and it was only oatmeal. Oatmeal and water.
Blair tells Officer Diaz that she starved Stoni for about 2 weeks following the beating, though she doesn't believe this is what ultimately killed her daughter. Blair claims Stoni's cause of death was asphyxiation. However, A spokesperson for the medical examiner's office told the LA Times that Stoni died solely from blunt force trauma injuries. The same article reveals that Steven died from blunt force trauma and thermal injuries.
Let me ask you this, because we're going to get to the bottom of it,
I'm
okay?
just flat out tell you what I did.
Yeah. Tell me what you did what caused Stoni's death? Or tell me what you did that brings you here today.
Smothered.
Hmm?
Smothered.
You smothered her?
Yes.
Was it that same night?
That's
You
what-
go to the basement, you drink?
Oh, no. I get like that. I'm too, no. This was a while later.
Like a day, 2 days later?
No, maybe days, because
Like how many days?
I don't know.
Okay. So after a few days, is that safe to say?
Yeah.
I want you to walk me through it. So, do you go upstairs and just say, you know what, I'm going to smother her, and you just smother her?
No.
Or do you guys have a conversation?
She was laying on the floor. She was
Where at?
laying on the bed in her room.
Okay.
So I came in and I sat down.
So you go in her room.
Yeah. And I scared her because she was asleep, but I sat down in front of her. So you wake up. She basically wake up and saw my face, and she was like this. And I just kept asking her, are you ready to apologize? And she said, I am sorry for doing that to somebody, period, but I still hate him. And I hit her again.
You hit her?
Yes. Right in here.
With your hand?
Yes, my fist.
Although Blair admits to some physical abuse against her children, multiple news outlets reference an autopsy report and trial testimony that detail the horrific abuse not mentioned in the interrogation.
Who knew about the bodies in the freezer other than you?
I had to tell the kids. We were the only ones that knew. Until today.
When did you tell the kids?
That night.
Excuse me?
That night.
What night?
What happened was Stoni.
The night you killed Stoni?
Well, she was like, it wasn't that night. I told them that night, but what happened with Stoni was earlier in the day.
But when did you tell the kids?
That night.
The night that what?
The night that I did it.
When you say did, you mean Stoni, right?
Yep.
Kill Stoni?
Yes.
Blair is about to make a horrifying confession. Not only does she admit to torturing and killing 2 of her children, she also exposes her surviving children to the horror she carried out.
Did you show them? Did you show them the body?
Yeah. Not for a while.
How long did it take before you showed?
Not even a week.
What was their reaction?
Crying a lot.
Multiple news sources state that court documents reveal how Blair forced her eldest daughter to stack Stoni's body on top of Steven's. Blair only tells the detective her daughter cried at the sight of her sister's dead body.
She's just crying a lot. You know. It was looking like he didn't say nothing, he was just looking at me. And he started crying. I asked him, why you crying? He said, you're going to be in trouble.
What'd he say?
You're going to be in trouble.
Blair's youngest son was right. His mother would be in big trouble. In April of 2015, Blair pled guilty to 1 count of homicide felony murder for Steven's death and 1 count of homicide premeditated murder in the 1st degree for the death of Stoni. During her testimony, Blair elaborated on the torture she inflicted upon her son and daughter. She was quoted by the Detroit Free Press as saying, "I don't feel no remorse for the death of them demons." Blair was escorted out of the courtroom on multiple occasions for outbursts and screaming. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Throughout her time in prison, Blair has twice been charged with the assault of a prison employee, once in May of 2018 and again a couple of months later in July. For each assault, a minimum of 3 years and 2 months in prison was added on to her life sentence.